Welcome, viewers, to yet another 284 media feature with the one and only Kyla Kenesha Forbes. Today, we are here to speak about serious matters. Of course, with all that is going on in the world, with our tourism sector being down, viewers, you must be wondering what is happening in our BVI financial services industry. Well, that is a great question, and I have an amazing guest here today to tell you all about it. But stick with us and we'll be right back.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Viewers, welcome back. And of course, we are here with none other than the CEO of BVI Finance, Miss Elise Donovan. Now, Miss Donovan have paid us a visit before, and as you know, she's very knowledgeable about our BVI financial services industry. But before we jump right into it, just want to ask you, how are you doing?
I am good.
Awesome.
It's good to be here with you, Kyla Kenesha,
Yes.
and to be twinning with you today.
We are twinning.
You're the younger, improved version of me.
Well, thank you very much. But before we really and truly jump into it, I want you to explain to the viewers what is the role of BVI Finance. I think persons hear about FSC, FIA, ITA. There's a lot of it going around as it pertains to the financial services industry. So we want to really know, what is the role of BVI Finance?
We've just called the list of acronyms, and most of them are the regulators. As you know, the FSC is the Financial Services Commission, the ITA is the International Tax Authority, the FIA is the Financial Investigation Agency, and all play their role as regulators within the financial services industry. But the role that BVI Finance plays, we are the marketing, promotional, and reputational and brand management agency for financial services. So we play the role that the Tourist Board plays for tourism.
Awesome.
So we send the message out globally about our financial services products and services and what we do as an international finance center.
And I think viewers need to know how important that is. Like any other product, you need to advertise and market and let persons know internationally as well as locally what the BVI has to offer as it pertains to the financial services industry. Now, with all that is going on, what would you say, what does the climate look like for the BVI financial services industry right now, currently?
Well, the British Virgin Islands, like most countries in the globe, have been impacted by COVID-19 coronavirus and the impact on the global economy. It has certainly disrupted traditional ways of doing business. We are in a new normal, and for our financial services industry, we of course are in that business that is moving towards digital transformation. So that digital disruption that we've heard about for so many years that was coming has been accelerated by the COVID-19 and financial services industry in terms of how we do business, how we interact with clients, how we interact with our partners around the globe. We have to do it at a distance. We have to maintain that over technology, whether it's using our social media platforms, but also using different webinars, podcasts, seminars. They have now become the norm in terms of how we interact and do business.
So I'm hearing you speaking about this digital footprint and now it being accelerated now through COVID-19. And I know that the BVI Finance have been busy at work during this pandemic to really set footing as it pertains to its digital footprint. Now tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, certainly we have sort of revamped or recalibrated our marketing strategy to make it a full-fledged digital marketing strategy. So this time, by mid-year, we would have been across the globe doing many trips, conferences, events, promoting and marketing our financial services products, but we are grounded here. So we are doing that in terms of putting on forums via the internet. We're doing webinars, we're doing video presentations, and we've also introduced a number of series of video events or conferences in addition to our breakfast forum, which we do monthly, and we're now doing that fully on a virtual platform. What we've also introduced Business Insight, which is a more insightful look at the sectors that we have in the financial services industry, and it speaks to our sectors, whether it be funds or investment business, whether it be trust and estate planning, or whether we're talking about economic substance. So Simon Gray, who is the head of business development and marketing, does that show, and it's a 30-minute long video show, video presentation, a video cast. And then we've also introduced a more light, relaxed, which we are calling Business Break, and that is being hosted by our marketing manager, Kareem Nelson Hull, as well as our media relations coordinator, Binta Jallo. And the first episode, for example, we talked about what's happening in terms of COVID-19 and travel and business travel. So our guests were Najan Christopher, who's the Director of International Affairs, and we had from TravelWise, Luther Butler, to talk about how do you get out of the BVI to get where you need to go or come into the BVI business-wise.
Wow. Elise, it sounds all so exciting. I have so many more questions for you, but viewers, we must take a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
In the final analysis, we have two options: stay inside and create memories that will last forever, or go outside and say goodbye to those memories. We're not stuck inside, we're safer inside. The time is now to unite, embrace, and love each other from a distance. Show the world and the people in it just how much they mean to you by keeping your distance. It may be difficult, but necessary. Let's reintroduce humanity and heart to all homes. While we can't enjoy the sun, sand, and sea, let's take this time to remember why we are nature's little secrets. Stay inside, and when it's over, we would all be better, stronger, and we would all still be together. With self-discipline and patience, we can overcome. We are, have been, and will always be BI Strong. A message from your team at 284 Media.
Viewers, we are back here with the CEO of BVI Finance, Miss Elise Donovan, and she was telling us all about the amazing things that the BVI Finance have been doing on a digital level, really been putting their feet on the ground digitally to put the BVI on the map. So you were telling me a little bit about your shows. You talked about Business Break, Business Insight, but I'm sure our viewers want to know when and where they can find these different shows. You spoke about your social media page, so I'm sure you will be pushing it through there.
Yes, so we have all the social media platforms. So we will have them on our social media platforms, as well as we send out a weekly newsletter, which is this week on BVI Finance. And in this week, we usually advertise our breakfast forum. And so the next forum, for example, is going to be talking about the whole digital platform and what BVI can be doing to educate or to provide opportunities for people who want to get into the field of digitalizing, themselves as well as their work environment.
Just definitely amazing. But I want to backtrack. You spoke a little bit about, and we've all been speaking about the coronavirus and the COVID-19 and how it have impacted many industries. But of course, we know that the Asia market is one of our greatest investors into the BVI financial services industry. And with Asia being the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. What do you have to say about that, and maybe about some of the revenue? What effect would it have on the revenue generation from that industry?
Well, BVI's role in the global economy is we facilitate global trade and investment. And what that means is that we keep the wheels of global finance turning. So it's important whatever is happening in the global economy is going to impact our financial services industry. Certainly, we have been fortunate and privileged to continue to be able to do business. And as I said, using now various digital platforms to do business, interact with clients, etc. But it doesn't mean that we are not impacted. So the global economy has slowed according to the International Monetary Fund by almost 5%, 4.9%. And what that means is business has slowed. We've seen closures, we've seen stores that were around for maybe a century are now, are now moving and are no more. So all of that is impacting business. But there's also an opportunity for us to look at what's happening across the world and where the opportunities for jurisdictions like the BVI. And Asia, as you said, is a very important market for the BVI. It represents 42% of BVI financial services business. That means the beneficial owners of companies that of BVI companies are originate in Asia, and specifically 35% originate in mainland China as well as Hong Kong. Which is part of China. So when China and Asia are doing well, the BVI does well because we have that symbiotic relationship between the BVI and Asia, and it's a relationship that we've had for the last 30 years. We recently did a study with East End Partners, which is a banking and research firm based out of London, but they also have headquarters in Hong Kong and throughout Asia. And that study showed that institutional investors, corporates, and high net worth individuals would be looking to mitigate their risk as well as to protect their assets. And they'll be looking to international finance centers like the BVI. So whenever Asia is doing well and the business is turning around in Asia, it bodes well for the BVI. So Asia was the first in, as you noted, into the pandemic, and it's going to be the first out. We've seen, although there are signs of third wave, in terms of the resurgence of COVID-19, but they've certainly been able to mitigate and manage the pandemic and to continue to do business. So that means that 42% of our BVI business is still churning and is still going well, as well as all our business partners around the globe, because BVI has a global financial services industry. So it's not just Asia, but around the globe, BVI still continues to do business, of course, impacted and cautioned by what is happening in the global economy.
Most definitely. As you said, everywhere, all industries have been affected by the pandemic, and the BVI financial services industry is no different, but definitely hopeful and having faith that we will come out of this even better than before. But my question would be, I think for a few years now, we have seen our industry go through many challenges, may it be beneficial ownership, public registers, and also we have seen some losses coming out of the registry of corporate affairs. From anyone looking in, what would you say to them? Plainly speaking, will our BVI financial services continue to be able to sustain the BVI?
I think that's an important question, and it's one I think that all of us have been looking at, including the government, the industry, the regulators. It's a question that we ask ourselves constantly. How do we sustain our financial services industry? Over the years, we've had different reports, whether it be a report that came out that looked at, how do we sustain our financial services industry, and the recommendations coming out of that report. And we've implemented some of those recommendations. But what is the next generation of financial services? Financial services is critically important to the BVI. It represents, I think, 1 in 10 jobs come from the financial services industry. 62% of government revenues, and about 33% of gross value added, and that means economic output. So this industry is critically important. It may not create as many jobs, but in terms of income, it's also very important. 27% of remuneration comes from financial services. So it's quite significant, and it's important for us to always be innovating and looking about how we can bring about that innovation. So that's a question that we've been asking and looking at, and one of the areas that we've been looking at, and you would have heard the Premier last year as well as recently talked about what does the digital economy looks like. And like I said, the digital disruption has been accelerated, and certainly I think BVI is poised to be able to move into that arena in terms of business. We are also poised to look at what's happening around the globe, particularly in the Asia market, which is quite significant, and we'll be looking to international finance centers like the BVI to do business. So they're looking for risk mitigation, they're looking for security, they're looking for flexibility. As you know, there's a lot of uncertainty, and they're looking for that security in this age of uncertainty. And that is something that we as BVI financial services industry, we specialize in providing the structures that facilitate business and gives that security in terms of protecting your assets and making sure that you mitigate the risk of doing global business.
Most definitely. You spoke about investors, and you basically spoke to investors, telling them what the BVI can give to them. But if we had to take it a step further, speaking to investors who are wondering why should we take our business to the BVI as an international finance center, or even why now? What we as the BVI would tell them?
Well, the first thing that we say is that we are trusted, tested, and proven jurisdiction. BVI has been a partner with China, for example, and we have seen the growth of China over the last 30 years. It's moved from, poverty, and China is one of the most advanced, technologically driven countries in the world. And most of the Chinese, as a business venture, would say BVI. When they're talking about you need a corporate structure, BVI is used as a generic term. That is how much the Chinese use BVI. And so Chinese business follows success. So if a business has been successful using an instrument, and that instrument has been the BVI corporate structure, which is flexible, it's excellent, it puts in measures that facilitates mitigates the risk for not only the banks, but also for the lenders as well as for the investors. And one of the things that we say, we provide jurisdictional neutrality. And what that means is you see that China, for example, has moved across the globe in terms of it's the largest facilitator of finance, whether it's to emerging economies or the US, because China is actually the largest holder of debt for the United States. Many people may not be aware of that.
You learn something every single day.
Yeah, so it does business globally, and one of the tools that it uses to do business globally is the BVI corporate structure. And what that means is that they look for a neutral vehicle. So if China is making an investment into a U.S. company, or U.S. is making an investment into China, they're doing a joint venture, they may not want to use a United States company, or China may not feel comfortable, vice versa, the U.S. may not feel. So they use a neutral structure like the BVI, which is governed by English common law, and the highest court of appeal, if there are any disputes, is the London Privy Council. Of course, we have our commercial court and our International Arbitration Center for alternative dispute resolution. So we have all the facilities, all the structures, and one of the things that make the BVI special is that we are global. So when you look at other jurisdictions compared to the BVI, we are truly global, and you will find BVI practitioners across the globe. In Hong Kong, for example, you're going to find more than 200 specialists, experts who do BVI law, who are specialists in BVI law, and can be able to facilitate that business. So when the Chinese want to do BVI business, or to have any advice or anything, they can readily find that person within their locality, within their time zone, because there are BVI experts all around the globe doing BVI business. And I think that's the thing that differentiates us, the accessibility of the experts that are truly global, and that we provide an excellent tool for you to do international business.
Elise, I think the viewers knew, but even now, after speaking to you and hearing from you, now more than ever, they understand that the BVI is open for business, or BVI financial services industry, as it always have been, is ready to serve the people internationally and locally. But before we go, I want to definitely push once again your new digital footprint and the shows coming out of that. I know persons are very excited to hear more about what is coming out of that, and why it is so important for locally for us to know about our financial services industry. So we do want to reiterate some of those shows again, and what's your social media so persons can find it readily when it becomes available?
Well, it's all BVI Finance, so we're on all the social media platforms, and I think we can provide the links to those.
Yes.
But we're on the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram,
all over.
all over.
Yeah. So why should persons locally listen in and watch these shows? What kind of information will they provide?
It's educational, and one of our mandates is to provide information and education about our financial services industry, not just in the global marketplace, but we are also mandated to do that locally. And I think it's important that people understand how important this industry is. I think it's important for them to understand where our business comes from. As I like to say, where our bread is buttered. And certainly, I like to tell people, because I spent so many years over in Asia, that yeah, our bread is buttered. A large part, it's not fully buttered, but a large part of our bread is buttered from the Asia market. And so we ought to maintain that relationship, understand what's going on in the global economy and how it's going to impact us. Like I said before, we are quite fortunate that our business can still continue. Our Virgin, which is a virtual integrated platform that allows us to register our companies, which was done, continued during the hurricanes, or the aftermath of the hurricanes, and it still continues. So we were able to do courts. We were able to do, litigation. We were able to have facilitation of business. Although the world was shut down, our business did not shut down. And that's something that's important for people to understand, that BVI Financial Services business is open, and that we are providing business to the world.
Definitely. I want to note that once again. As you said, I think our viewers and residents in the BVI do know how important the financial services industry is, but to be educated about it and to know really and truly what the BVI has to offer, I think that's what persons need to take note of. So BVI Finance is giving it to you straight right there and everything. But I do want to thank you for joining me today once again, just to spread some knowledge on our BVI financial services industry. I can always count on you to come in and just spread that knowledge.
Yes, we would certainly like everybody in the BVI to be able to give that financial services elevator speech. We are International Business and Finance Center, facilitating global trade and investment around the world.
Most definitely. Viewers, you heard it here. Of course, once again, we were joined here today by the CEO of BVI Finance, Miss Elise Donovan. And of course, I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes with yet another 284 Media feature. Have a good day.